You're going to be disappointed by this year's Social Security COLA. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This is tap your vein guarantee, as Clay Travis says. That always cracks me up. And of course, Clay Travis's betting is wrong more than he's right. Anyway, this is a guarantee. All right. So remember, Social Security, the COLA is based on Q3 of the year. All right. So it'll be Q3 would be July, August, September, of this year, 2025. So we're in June right now. Inflation numbers came in much lower than anticipated this past month. They're going to come in low again this month. I mean, I guess you could say they might be higher because of Iran-Israel thing. I don't think so. I think they're going to be low. But and that's what Social Security is based on. They're based on the Q3 inflation, all right? Inflation this year has been very moderate to low, even with the Trump tariffs. I just did a video where the Trump tariffs are raising massive amounts of income on the border, which is fantastic for incoming items, which is good. Trump's renegotiating trade activities with other people. We got companies that are relocating or bringing more expansion into U.S. manufacturing. All this is just good. We're finally saying that America is finally using our prowess as an economic might to say, no, we need to take care of America first before we take care of the world. I'll do another video later today where I talk about the whole international trade policy of the United States wasn't to benefit the United States. It was to help the world, essentially, as opposed to us. And it's actually a very honorable thing, to be perfectly honest. So what happened after World War II, they said, man, we got to get these countries off their backs and productive again. And then we allowed that with trade. We allowed Japan and other countries to have tariffs on our products and stuff, and then lo and behold, 80 years later, it's still the same scenario where America is we're the redheaded stepchild, man, of the rest of the country, of the rest of the world, where people say, hey, we're going to put tariffs on America, but how dare they put tariffs on us? Anyway, so we're finally rectifying that. And so people naturally, because they've been propagandized to think tariffs are inflationary, just not, dude. Just not. They think that means massive inflation, which means, of course, high Social Security COLAs. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And you can just see the numbers that they are right now. They're just not there. And as such, what would make inflation jump up? Well, it would be a Middle East war for sure. But I don't think this is right. I mean, that could happen. That could expand if America was so stupid to get involved in another country's conflict, an ethnic bout over land disputes that go back to 1947. That it's just nothing to do with us, man. Yeah, they've been saying for years and years and years, decades, Iran is just one day away from getting nuclear weapons. There are going to be ICBMs. There's going to be planted towards the United States. Dude, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing how many Christian Zionists fall for this. And that doesn't mean because you don't fall for this that you're a freaking lover of Hamas. It's just like, come on, dude. They said the same thing about Iraq. They said the same thing about Iran. It's just not happening. It's just not going to happen. And so just stop with this stuff. If Israel wants to take on Iran, more power to them. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I hope there's a number of Iranians, Persians who stand up against the freaking insanity that is the Iranian government. Has nothing to do with us. We've got to get off this thing. But we have so many Christian Zionists, mostly boomers, right? Iran is we have to do it because of the Bible. Like, oh, Iran is a political state. Not Iran. Israel's a political state. They're pro-LGBT. They're the gayest friendly country in the world. They love them some mandated vaccines. They love them some abortion. They love them some anti-firearm ownership. Why would American right-wingers support this? It's crazy to me. Well, the political state of Israel is not the biblical group of Israel. It's just, it's embarrassing. Anyway, and you must be for Hamas or you must be for the Iranian mullahs. No, I'm not for any of them. It's a false dichotomy. Stop. The problem is the minute we get involved in this stuff, it creates all these refugees and refugees that swamp to the west, and they keep swamping to the west that we, for some reason, feel obligated to finance. I was just listening that New York City's paying $300 a night in luxury hotels for illegal immigrants. I'm like, now they're not just all coming from the Middle East, I grant you. A lot of our are coming from South America and whatnot. But this whole thing with the West is like we have this guilt It's the weirdest thing. We're going to fund illegal immigrants, refugees from Algeria, from freaking Guatemala, from all these places because we're guilty for some I don't understand it. It's the strangest thing. And then, of course, our wars and whatnot only help to perpetuate the refugees. It's insane, dude. It's insane. And Trump's the only one who says, and Trump's very pro-Israel, very much. But he's the only one who's sitting there saying, no, we're not. We're going to try to at least seal the border. And we'll see how Trump responds to the propagandists, the Lindsey Graham dynasties and whatnot. There's a couple of people in the Trump administration who should not be trusted when it comes to war mongering, that's for sure. Lindsey Graham dynasty is not in the Trump administration, I grant you. But Tom Cotton, a couple of these guys who are Republican senators, I just don't trust when it comes to this. On other things, sure, but on this, I don't trust Lindsey Graham dynasty as far as I could kick him. Remember, he's the one who pushed the whole a national amendment against abortion in the 2022 elections, which got this is right after Roe v. Wade, and no one was pushing that. No one wants to push that, and somehow Lindsey Graham, of all people, is the one pushing that. It's just stupid. Anyway, the point being, long-winded, is that unless we have massive conflict in the Middle East, but the thing is, too, we are now producing a lot of our own oil and certainly our own natural gas. So it's kind of like natural gas. So at the end of the day, it's like, how much is that going to affect us relative to what it affected us in the past? In fact, it's very funny. I noticed this, too, is that when the first Israeli war strikes hit Iran in Friday, the dollar went up. The treasury bonds went up. The yields on the dollars went down relative to the EU, relative to the euro, relative to the Japan yen, all this stuff. Because when war is happening, the safety of the United States is still there. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, it strengthens our dollar, which in of itself, you could say that's inflationary, strengthen the dollar, or you could say, because you could say, hey, that makes us export less. So we're going to have to rely on imports more, which imports subject to tariffs could be costly. Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's small potatoes in the overall scheme of things, in my opinion. But we did have an increase in the value of the dollar, an increase in the value of the treasuries, drop in the yields as well. And that's what happened on Friday. Pretty significant too, by the way, relative to other countries' currencies and bonds. It's just when war happens, people flee to the United States. Anyway, point being, when if this were to happen, yes, it could be a bump in the price of oil. But unlike the 1970s, when we were at the beck and call of the OPEC, we're just not anymore. We're just not. And as such, this is why you want independence. You want to be independent. So that way you don't need to rely on the mullahs and freaking the petro states of Russia, Venezuela, and whatnot. Never mind the Middle East. If you say, no, we don't need your stuff. We have natural gas pumping like crazy. We got a Permian Basin still. We got all this stuff. America's just crushing. And a lot of this happened under Obama, too, by the way. He couldn't stop it. Bush and Obama. So in that regard, it's good. We are being much more self-sufficient than we were. And as such, I don't expect any huge inflation, even if Israel goes out of control. I just don't. Actually, if anything, it'll hurt China and India more than anything because they rely on Iranian oil more than I think almost any other country. I think Iranian oil's biggest export is to China, if memory serves. I think I read that. And if there's a disruption in Iranian oil, it's going to hurt China more than it hurts us. So, hey, whatever, man. Take China, give the chip off China's shoulder. It works for me. That's what I was surprised. I was like, doesn't China? They're such a big country. They can't have their own oil reserves. I was surprised by that. And I never got an answer for it. I didn't really dive too deep into that. But maybe they do. They just can't extract them very efficiently, or they don't have the capacity to extract them. I don't know. But right now, I know Iran, their biggest export is to China, and I think India's along the top as well. So, if there is some kind of bump in oil price, it'll hurt China and India. It won't really hurt us as much because we can be self-sufficient on this stuff. Anyway, the point being is Social Security, where's the inflation going to come from? It's not going to come from tariffs. It's not going to come from, I don't know, what else is going to come from? Mass government spending. It's just not happening if you believe in that. It could come from an oil shock, but not to the extent it was in the 70s. So where's it going to come from? So don't spend that increase in Social Security money yet because I don't think it's going to come. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.